probably 99% of all of these still don't have solar on them, despite the fact that we are now at 6 or 7% of residential penetration for
Right.
homes,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah,
That's right.
exactly. Okay.
And so we know that there's just a whole bunch of projects that are waiting to come in. We don't know what these projects are. So we're trying to get as many funders that are going to cover as many different types of scenarios as we can. But in order to be able to return instantaneous proposals to our friends, the contractors, we have to bring these funders onto our platform and mimic their product, like avatars, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a product that does this in response to this kind of inquiry, et cetera. So we have piles of products. So as a contractor enters a project onto the platform, as they put in the information we were talking about, where is it? What is it? How much is it? What type of entity it will own it? What kind of building is it? Funders are literally, or funding options are literally taken off the shelf and put back on the shelf, depending on what each question is. And so that's the way we do it. We actually contain fully baked funding solutions that we're holding as if they were ours, but they're not ours. They're somebody else's. Well, we build them on our platform so that we can return then an instant series of options in terms of mechanisms and competing funders within each mechanism instantly in an actionable way to the user.
Got it. And so I guess being in finance, funders is one of the most important because you got to have financing to be able to finance people. So that is who you go after probably first, because it's a platform. Platforms usually have the chicken and an egg problem for two sides of the marketplace. In fact, you have three sides to the marketplace in a way. So, but do you go after the funders first and then get the EPCs who get the property owners, or do you go after the property owners? How does that dynamic work? And then what do you do for each one of those stakeholders? What do you offer? I guess I know a little bit about your products, but it would be probably useful to talk a little bit about the key products you offer as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So how we do it, first of all, is like these guys that you see on the 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica, standing on one foot or a unicycle, juggling 3 balls at the same time. We're doing that, right? We're oftentimes actually responding to a scenario that we've never seen before, and going to find a funder to respond to that scenario because we hadn't anticipated, right? And our job is, and I'll get to your question about different mechanisms, but our job is basically to create a narrative for each project. Or how do we present this project to a funder based on the realities of that project? So we try to automate as much of it as possible. At some point, we actually have to get on the phone and talk. And we can't automate this process for the reasons we talked about. What we've done is to automate the process of getting what we call indicative proposals, which are real products that fall in the category of funding that you need to get this project funded, and then the devil's in the details. So we offer different mechanisms because there are so many circumstances that we need to offer multiple mechanisms, since we don't know yet what the underwriting reality is going to be of that client. So we try to offer a PPA for each solution if we can. We try to, and the reason for that is that it's third-party owned. We try to offer a CPA solution if we can. And the reason for that is that it's an entirely different credit underwriting process that's really based in the value of the real estate instead of being third-party credit.
Instead of the owner's credit, you really look at the credit of the property itself for commercial PACE financing, which is very innovative. Yeah.
Yep. If we can, it has its own disadvantages, by the way, and every one of these has disadvantages and advantages. We have capital leases. Capital leases are fabulous instruments. They're essentially like equipment loans. So it has the word lease because there is an implication of lien. There's a lien implication for the lender, which the bank doesn't have. You're not liening the company that borrows. You're liening the equipment. So it's called a capital lease, and it's also usually third party funding as opposed to being a bank funding. So there's a capital lease. All the tax benefits of the capital lease accrue to the owner of the system, the property owner. So it's really wonderful. Its disadvantage is that often you can't get as long a term on it as you would like. We're working on that. Then there are loans. Obviously, loans are usually very difficult to get affordable long-term loans without massive dealer fees, which we don't believe in. So because we're trying to have zero dealer fees, our loans are usually loans that are geared towards equity types of projects, low-income housing, that kind of stuff. Tax investors and energy as a service. So those are the kind of broad categories.
Got it. So
our funders in each.